All right. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Elias Tries to Dive Off Camera, but his arm is still in shop.
I'm getting too old for this.
We are so professional in our things today.
I mean,
Oh,
we
man.
really should have planned this so that we were doing like that, but it's
Oh man.
Planning
That was,
for a Zelda Universe show? Nonsense.
boy.
It is nice to see everyone. You may notice. Well, I'm gonna take another drink.
All right, take two.
Those of you wondering, that is not alcohol. That is root beer. So,
I'm about to say, it looks like he's just chugging a beer at 11 a.m.
I mean,
It's
can
5
the
o'clock.
blade-
It's 5 o'clock
It's-
somewhere. It's fine.
I'm sorry. I live in
That's-
Wisconsin. Our baseball team is
The Brewers.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're expecting.
I toured a brewery when I was 12.
I assume it would have something to do with brewing cheese, but you know.
No, that's the Packers. Different thing.
No, yeah, that's the Packers.
You have to go up to Green Bay for that.
Anyway,
Wisconsin.
hi. This is kind of a weird episode of Robes a While because we actually weren't sure if we were going to have enough people to run today. So we decided to do something a little bit different. We haven't done one of these in a while. We are going to do a Q&A session.
Welcome to
So,
Realms of the Wild, the podcast.
Yeah. So if anybody has questions for me as the DM or one of the producers, or Alex and Elias as their producer roles, or any of the players or their characters, or just how they deal with me, anything, feel free to.
This feels
I don't
like
know- I don't know how to
Gilligan's
answer
Island, like the first intro for Gilligan's Island, where instead of naming the professor and Marianne, it just goes all the rest, because we got everyone named, and then or any of the players, and like,
I said Ilea, didn't I?
nope.
Oh, sorry.
Ooh.
Ilea.
Wop, wop. Ba, 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 ba-da-da-da, ba-da.
Yes. So if you have questions, feel free to put them in chat. We have a couple questions already kind of planned already, and Ilea apparently has some truth or dare that is not happening. So if you guys don't ask enough questions, I will start.
No,
making
wait. Don't tell them what she's gonna do, because they're gonna want to see it, and then they will ask questions.
I know. You're fanning the flames, Jody.
Guys,
you have
I
done the
didn't
goof.
sleep
But-
last night, so
But to make that point, I am open to truth or dare style questions for today.
yeah, not happening.
Let's get honest.
We're on the internet.
Dares aren't questions; they're just statements, commands.
We're on the internet. I don't want to
Only
risk
the truth half is a
anything.
question.
I would do a thing on my own channel called Too Honest to Be Honest, where I would answer basically any question. So I am basically an open book.
I, however, am not.
I
And there are
have a
many
line.
subjects I won't answer questions about. But as far as the game is concerned, feel free to ask them. Yes,
Or
like
about
yes, we're
other
doing
random things.
a Q&A.
Okay, here's my question.
And he freezes.
Yes.
Go on.
My question for you, Jody, is: hey, what's the deal with the tears in the Man in Black?
I'm sorry, you I got a glitch there. What did you say? I'm sorry, we got questions from the chat. I got to answer. We'll get back to that question.
Oh no!
So another thing, just before we get into the questions, couple announcements. First things first. I believe was it yesterday? The latest episode of the
Link's Awakening
Manga
just came out, yeah.
so,
And then we had a Paladin's Guidance of Joker, because that DLC came out a couple weeks ago, and it looks like it did pretty well, which is cool. So
check
go
that
watch
stuff
the
out.
things.
Still doing cool stuff on the YouTube channel.
Yep.
Beyond that, the other announcement we have, due to the fact that our schedules are kind of crazy, and my goal is to have a full house as much as possible. We're actually going to be breaking our regular schedule and running the game next week, and then going back to the every other week, just because it will fit better with everyone's schedule. So we're having the Q&A this week. Next week, we will have an actual game. And as of right now, we will actually have a full house.
And it'll be Star Wars Day, so expect all the jokes.
So, yeah, it should be fun. And hopefully the next couple episodes, we shouldn't have as many issues with conflicts. Our issue is we just happen to cast a lot of really talented people that have lives. So,
But not me.
Or me, because I have a work and a show now.
I was too tired and missed the implication. But maybe me.
No.
Elias lives in his own singularity.
all right. So, without any further ado, let's jump into the Q of the A.
I was really worried for a second that I'm like, do I have to change views? Because let me show y'all. This is behind the scenes. This is what that looks like. It's a mess, but now we have this, so it's fine.
I mean, to be fair, it's all black screen for me right now. But that's just my own personal problem.
That is fun.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna check out chat. We have looks like the first question I can see is from an Elias.
There was actually one earlier.
There's one from
There
Richard
is. Imp
earlier.
has a question. If the players had to ship characters with another character, doesn't have to be the team, who would they choose? Read the fanfic.
So hang on.
My players.
Oh, I thought it
So-
said read the fanfic, because I was going to say, is there a fanfic out there?
If there's a fanfic, please send it to me and also Elias. Just tag Elias in all the fanfic.
Just tag Elias and everything.
Yeah.
Every time you
Maybe
post a
our
tweet,
next
just tag
random
Elias
episode will
Thompson.
just be reading the fanfic.
I would love that so much.
We're gonna get demonetized
we would
immediately.
definitely, yeah, we'd have to like read it beforehand and know what to label the stream.
We would have to vet it so
Can't
hard.
be demonetized if you forgot to upload it to YouTube in the first place.
We would get kicked off of Twitch. No.
No, reading fanfics will not get you kicked out of Twitch.
Depending on what they are.
Acting them out.
Oh, okay.
Well, it depends on what they are.
Yeah.
Hey, so Jody.
What's Erica Ishii do?
Oh, wait.
We would just have to label it a mature stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Pierre.
So you would ship Aruna with Pierre.
No, I'm asking Alex/Pierre to go first.
Oh god.
Okay.
This is within the characters in the game, or just anyone that we've met?
Within
any
not just
any
the team.
characters you met. So
In the
it could
land
be-
of Realms of the Wild.
could be a boss character, whatever. I'm waiting for the amalgamation of dead bodies.
Oh,
No.
wow.
No. That's a line that's too weird. I mean, is it weird to cop up to say Maria because friend? And because like they already have an established relationship?
It's fine.
But can you have a relationship if she doesn't even know the real you?
Yeah, well, there are things
I
that I
mean-
could say, but none of y'all watch Game of Thrones. The season's still on, so I'm not gonna say it.
Also, argument here. I feel like Maria knows the real Pierre better than any of the team. Of the people we've met, who knows Pierre the best so far?
Well, me.
So yes, Pierre will ship himself.
Probably
with himself.
Zolta.
I think Jerry actually knows Pierre the best.
Jerry is the super secret holder.
I want to retract my statement, Jerry.
You guys
Damn
are
it.
gonna get really mad when you find out Jerry is the final boss.
I'm not going to be mad at all.
I won't. I would join Jerry.
The
What?
thing is, Jerry,
Hashtag
Jerry,
Team Jerry.
Jerry can't even go through tears though. We had to get a replacement Jerry whenever we got into this realm.
No, he had.
We're with Gary right now.
They just changed names. It's fine. It's an alternate dimension. Don't think about it.
All right, who would Aruna be shipped with?
You know, it would probably be like,
A rock.
well, you
The
don't want to.
Talus, the first boss you guys fought.
Talus is
right.
is an option. Is an option. If they weren't so aggressive and murderous all the time.
That was the one I did the kill shot and then immediately knocked myself out, right?
You knocked
I
yourself
think
out after we defeated the boss.
Because
Yeah.
I think that was the first stream of that show that I did in my apartment here.
I don't know. I feel like if there were just a Lady Goron that showed interest, Iruna would be down.
Aruna's DTF, folks.
But up. All right, Ilea, what are you?
Zolta.
I really do like the Zolta Kest ship, but I feel like Zolta would like end up shipping herself with the giant Darknut that we fought because then she could just destroy everything.
What?
If that were true, why didn't you turn on us and team up with it?
How do you guys know she wasn't trying to do that? Did you see her using entropy powers? No, she was shooting little lightning bolts, probably trying to give it a charge.
I don't know what answer I was expecting. That wasn't it. Wow. So Zolta and Lycio ship then. Because you want to be with the mastermind, not just the Dark Knight.
Like Lycio's minions, yes.
It is definitely a Zolta gravitates towards power.
I'm not even gonna comment on that.
I unfortunately cleared my chat, and I know there was a couple other questions, so somebody else pick a question out of chat.
Let's see.
What creatures would you like to see in the future as enemies, or just cool, neat encounters?
I honestly don't even want to answer this because I have a feeling it's just gonna show up.
I think it'll happen. So
I would just like to see, like a bunny with 2 HP. That's just like, oh, hey, you accidentally stepped on my carrot. I'm gonna try to hop on you, and then we're just like, oh, no, little rabbit, and we move it out of the way and continue on our way.
No, he would join Jerry. We would now have a rabbit.
A rabbit that's always trying to kill
But
you.
could the rabbit be
I
my
would
companion?
love that. That would be so adorable.
Hold on, but the rabbit can that be my companion?
I mean, eventually I'll get just bogged down with all the animals, so you can carry him.
Just
Rabbits
getting
can't
this
fly.
vision of a rabbit going full-on Wile E. Coyote throughout the rest of the campaign.
I'd be into it.
Creatures. What's my favorite Zelda creature? I'm not sure if I have.
Don't give Jody or Lycios ideas.
I actually would really like a fairy rebellion to occur.
Fairy Rebellion.
Yeah.
Just an army of fairies. Every time you kill one, another one just raises it.
We have come and exploited the fairies for their healing properties for too long. It is their time to rise up and demand equality.
I'm expecting the leader to have an eye patch and this ammo vest and everything.
Rise up. Tell your brother that he's gonna rise
Local
up. Tell your
fairies of
sister
the
that
realm.
he's gonna rise up.
Section 204.
Rise up,
When are
rise up.
these colonies gonna rise up?
501st Fairy Battalion.
So,
Two different directions. Hamilton, Star Wars. Perfect.
okay, Lycios, you have your orders.
No.
Damn it. This is
Oh
why
no.
I said
The
no.
Rupee system is broken. How
I mean-
unfortunate.
Oh no, what can we do?
If you all remember, I definitely auditioned with a fairy character.
That's true.
and
You did. That
I
was
have
your, that was
strong
your test.
feelings about how the fairies are being exploited in this world. So,
I also could have made a Newsies joke there, but I didn't.
One day
there's.
we'll have to release those.
Oh God. There is.
There was some
there's
great
the-
stuff.
Arcane Archivist had the what other Zelda universes or even non-Zelda worlds would you like your characters to visit? Pokemon.
Game of Thrones.
That is a horrible world that will destroy us.
Oh,
So bad.
Why would you
Watching
choose that?
Pierre just get there, and
Dragons!
in 10 minutes, he's plucked, stuffed, and baked.
Or he ends up on the Iron Throne.
You
It'll be one
goddamn
of the-
right.
No,
Iron
he's a
Throne
bird.
Pierre.
they don't let non-humans sit on that throne.
I can't comment on that because I don't know what's happening tomorrow.
I love the comment from Velvet Blondie. I just got home from my friend's baby shower, and you guys are shipping rocks. Life.
Blondie, you have Elias in the room. That's all I'm gonna say. There is. I want to point out a comment from Elias. F, Mary, kill, Elder Jeff, the musical-inducing box of Cheerios, or an actual tear.
Okay.
That's
F the
up to you
Cheerios.
guys.
No, marry the Cheerios. They
You
need
would
a
have
happy
life
family.
full of song. Whereas having the Cheerios, you would just have one crazy night full of songs you can never listen to again.
I would probably kill the Cheerios.
I would probably.
And then...
I might retract my answer on this because actually you made a good point. F, Elder Jeff, marry the Cheerios, kill the tear.
Yeah, so
makes that
I would,
argument.
I would kill the Cheerios, do Elder Jeff, and then marry the tear.
So there you have it, guys. This is what Realms has devolved into.
And you thought my truth or dare questions would be bad.
In fairness, this is all Elias's fault.
Question. Universe crossover guest. If you could pull any character from the Nintendo verse into the game, who would you pick?
Ooh.
The first
Does
example
Final Fantasy
of
count?
Elias.
Who... I'm trying to think who we would have the best chance of defeating.
It doesn't have to be an enemy.
Does it have to be?
It says crossover guest.
Are we
They
talking
could join-
just
first
any
example
Nintendo
is
IP or
Samus.
anything that's on Nintendo?
Elias.
Yeah, and that's a good answer, but I'm trying to think of if there's someone else or something else.
Are we talking specifically Nintendo centric, like Nintendo based IPs, or anything that's been on Nintendo?
It says
It's
Nintendo
a
verse.
Smash
So-
has made that very muddy.
I was about to say, let's just go any character that could theoretically show up in Smash.
So then I have two options.
Steve
three
from
options.
Minecraft.
I will kick you from this call.
I choose Mew.
I have three options: Joker, Isabelle, Cloud.
I would love to see us. Well, I guess he's not quite as bad as Squall, but I'd love to see a silent protagonist just show up.
Yeah, you know
Silent
what? Let's go with
protagonist.
Samus.
Link is a silent protagonist.
Look, I tried to make that happen through the audition games, and I was told that's a problem.
That's true.
I think it'd be fun for Samus to just come in and hunt you guys like Metroids.
Oh. Doesn't have to be a bad guy, huh? Yeah.
That's what we were
Definitely
saying.
isn't a
Here's the
bad
thing.
guy.
We would hire her
Banjo Kazooie.
to hunt the terror stuff, people stuff. And then she'd just be like, "Yes, let me use my vastly superior technology / Chozo magic to destroy this weird little black hole magic you've got going on."
Just comes in with the plasma beam shooting through walls, going, "You guys suck. You actually have to see your enemies." Psh, X-ray scope.
Also, petition for Doom Guy.
Yeah. that would go for
Scorpion!
real.
Scorpion, let's go.
Okay, I have a question.
Oh boy.
Do we want to hear it?
It's going to be fine, but I am going to ask it in a Valley Girl voice.
Okay, I'm
Oh
muting it.
dear.
So, like, if you had to choose between going naked or having your thoughts appear in thought bubbles above your head for everyone to read, which would you choose?
How long will we be going naked? And how long would the thought bubbles appear?
I assume both for the same amount of time. Let's say a day. And you do have to go outside.
Oh.
So here's the thing.
I was go to a nudist beach and then just chill there.
You
Panic
by
disorder,
outside,
with
I mean you have to
agoraphobia.
interact with others.
social
Cool. Nudist
anxiety
beach.
disorder. Yeah, it's like neither one is happening. If I choose naked because my interactions are entirely online, I just would get banned from Twitch and YouTube.
I mean, depending on where the angle is, as long as your nipples aren't showing.
Well, and then the thought bubbles. You guys don't want to know what my brain cooks up.
Yeah,
Same.
here's the thing. Like,
Brain, it is terrifying.
if we have to go outside, then if I go naked, I'm arrested. But
Unless you go to a nudist beach.
but you have to get there. I'm not near a nudist beach.
To your knowledge.
I live in Wisconsin. We don't have nudist beaches. Things.
New
would
Jersey
fall
must
off.
have some.
But if we do the thought bubbles, then that pretty much guarantees losing contact with everyone you know. And also maybe getting arrested.
Yeah, I mean, when the
But
cops
so
come
you
up,
know what? Yeah, you know what? Let's just go with naked.
if you act drunk, they just put you in the drunk tank until the nakedness wears off. So
And you can say you went outside.
Okay.
What about you, Alex?
I would also go naked because there's also nudist beaches in Jersey, I think. So I can literally
You're just
run.
really set on going to a nudist beach.
Because then it's fine.
they're not as much fun as they.
But I can
you think.
avoid jail time, and that's what's important. You gotta optimize the day with what you got, alright?
Anyone have any questions about like the game itself or my process? Make me feel like I'm important for a couple seconds.
Well, I got a question for all the people here. Out of all of the RPG systems that you've played, which one is your favorite?
I'll let you guys go first because I have a very long answer, which is very, very on brand for me.
Ailea, you go first.
Apparently, we all have long answers.
I like Open Legends and I like 5e a lot, both because of how adaptable they are and like the ease level for D&D 5e for newbies is great in my opinion. But I also really want to play this.
Mm.
Well, I'm not familiar with that one.
So they had a Kickstarter at the same time as Open Legend for Morris Dawn, and it's like one of the three creators is Strix, who was on Hyper RPG when they were up in Seattle, and basically for this game, instead of playing as separate characters, you all are playing as the same character but different female tropes, so different aspects of her psyche. So you're like the mother, the virgin, the femme fatale, like all of these different ways that women have been portrayed in very stereotypical, horrible ways. And it's a horror game where basically you're just having the bride slowly become like more and more demoralized and going insane until the end scene. So I'm I really want to play this game. It's so pretty and
So that
beautiful.
sounds uplifting.
I am planning to run it for Halloween.
Like his horror game, Virgin dies. Oh wait, no.
No,
It's-
Virgin
it's-
wins.
it's kills. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you're right.
Yeah, it's so Virgin normally comes final girl. Horror tropes.
I mean, spoiler alert, like the end is always horrible in this game. But in a beautiful way.
So that was cool. Alex, Elias.
Elias, you want to go first?
No.
Good answer. I think I've played a few. I've played a bit of the Fantasy Age system, a little bit with Dragon Age and Titan's Grave, and then between this and D&D, I actually think I have to go with 5e. I think what I really like about it, it was the thing that got me into tabletop RPGs, but I think the way it's structured to me makes a lot of sense. Granted, I spend most of my time playing D&D running games and playing it at this point.
Yeah. Welcome.
But one of
welcome
my
to being a DM.
yep, but one of
I've
my
played once in 3 years.
one of my my girlfriend's sister is a huge like story fan and like wants to make a Skyrim campaign. So I'm gonna be like, hey, here are my books. You can take them. Have fun, make a Skyrim adventure, and I'll definitely play it. Like I think it's very streamlined. I think it's easy. I really like what they did with D&D Beyond. Even though I'm a little annoyed that I have to double dip, but for what you can do with it, it's awesome. And I don't know, I find it really cool, and I think for me it works a lot more. And then there's a ton of other great things like Gale Force 9 makes these amazing spellbook cards that like all the spells are on like little index cards that have information. There are monster cards that actually have like the monster photos and the stat blocks on them. It's fantastic. I love it. It's so cool. And they're like amazingly helpful. So I really like D&D.
Thank you for updating the game, Elias. What is your answer?
I'll probably go with 5e as well. I haven't DM'd 5e yet, but coming from a player's perspective on both of them, it's probably just a matter of just being more familiar, even though my main game right now is in Open Legends. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's easier to know what to sort of think about in any given time in 5e from a player's perspective. Whereas in Open Legends, there's a lot more openness. But that means I you know, at the same time can be, you know, just it gives you a lot more freedom, and it's not always an advantage. I
Yeah,
think.
there's something to be said about limitations actually encouraging creativity as opposed to suppressing it like a lot of people think. When the limitations and rules are created effectively, they're really great tools and actually make kind of the spontaneity and improvisational aspect of RPGs easier, because you don't
Yeah.
have quite as broad a thing of there's no guidance, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they've
Gives
had,
you a
you know,
little
20,
track.
30 years to iterate on how to get there. So, yeah, probably 5e.
There is a specific question for Jody.
Oh, but he hasn't answered this one yet.
Yeah.
I'll answer, because this question, Legios has actually did twice. I was gonna answer it before. Legios, like.
Why would you do that?
How dare
Arcane
you?
Archivist, I love this question.
How
but we-
dare you?
So going back to my current favorite system. My favorite system changes every time I learn a new system.
Really?
Why is everyone Are you reacting to chat or to me?
To the
Chat.
like.
Oh yeah.
It could go so poorly.
This is why
You
I
guys
don't think.
like to rename my awesome magic items. What happens when something eats them? Just saying.
This is why I said I don't want to give any answers to the enemy question because it just gives too much material for Jody and Lykios.
You can't.
Chat, I love you, but I also don't really trust you.
Why would you? Like, they're great, but they also create enemies to destroy us.
So going back to my question, like I said, it changes literally every time I learn a new one. I really like Open Legend, and I have I have like two or three ideas for Open Legend games that I want to run that I just can't because I have no time or stamina. I love D&D 5e. It will always be D&D will always be my technically second, but first long running RPG. Let's see. Currently, Humble Bundle had a deal where you could get like $200 worth of Numenera books for like $15. And I
Oh,
got
that's not
that.
bad.
Oh yeah, no. When Humble Bundle does an RPG bundle, get it. I got Pathfinder that way. I got Numenera that way, and it's always worth it. The only issue I have is it's all PDFs, and I like my physical books. But
That's my issue with Beyond, is that I like a lot of the physical books, but Beyond being digital is so easy, but it requires you to have the internet.
yeah. So anyway, yeah. Right now, I would really like to run a Numenera campaign, and to be blunt, if and when the this campaign ends, I'm actually really open to running a Zelda-based Numenera campaign, because Numenera is all about exploring this lost civilization, and is more about exploration and learning things is the goal of the campaign over like beating a final boss or anything like that. And I think with the play styles of you guys, especially Kiri, you would really gel with that. And there's so many instances in Zelda, like every Zelda game has this like lost civilization aspect to it, whether it's just the Temple of Time or the Lost Woods, stuff like that. See, I'd be open to running a Numenera campaign. That's my thing for right now.
We need to answer this question because I love it. Arcane Archivist says, if you or your characters were Sailor Scouts, what powers would they have? And I assume a blanket for our characters that everyone's got a little touch of Sailor Pluto in them for the like going between worlds kind of thing.
I don't know anything about Sailor Moon other than the costumes.
Yeah,
So-
same. I don't have a lot of knowledge of Sailor Moon. I didn't watch it a lot growing up. I know I'm the worst.
I have Sailor Moon nail wraps on hand right now. I have run a Sailor Moon D&D game before.
Didn't you run that for one of my charity events?
Yes, I did.
It was awesome. Did I ever get you the recording
No,
of it?
you didn't.
I haven't. I went and there's 3 people that requested it. I gave it to 2. I couldn't remember the third. So
Okay, so
get you a link tonight.
thank you. So for me, I think
Real
that
quick.
yes.
Cruel 08, seen it, got it in my head, we'll answer it. Back to you.
I think that Zolta would like to think that she would be basically Sailor Saturn. I don't think she actually is. But for those who aren't aware, Sailor Saturn is basically a destroyer of worlds. Like, she is the most
Oh.
powerful Sailor Scout. There are consequences to that.
Nice.
Yeah, and there's some interesting consequences to that. But I feel like Zolta would want to be that character, but would probably not be very successful at it. Or too successful. One of the-
I would be the the
The cat.
I would be the cat too.
Sure.
Okay, which cat? Are you going to be Luna or Artemis, or are you going to be their child?
I would be
I don't
probably Luna.
know. You know what? Iruna is one of the planets that Sailor Saturn explodes. How's that? I
This
literally
is
know
an
nothing
on-
about this series.
The most on-brand answer for Elias. This is why Elias is a living meme.
You know what? No, Aruna would be Sailor Jupiter.
Really?
Sure.
And who
Iruna would be Sailor Jupiter.
Sailor
I'll trust your
Jupiter
judgment.
is the tallest of the inner senshi. She's very good at sports, has the powers over thunder, so she's able to like make the earth shake and do different things like that.
So she's Thor.
A little.
Yeah. True story. I have a D&D character that started off as just an homage to Castlevania. Like he's a whip wielding ranger, and has throwing daggers and throwing axes and carries holy water. And he got this set of armor called gloaming leather armor, and gloaming armor has this thing where you recite a word that magically changes into your street clothes, then you say the activation phrase and it turns back into armor.
That's cool.
Really cool. This one had flavor text because we got it off of this, like, I guess kind of succubus type character. And so the flavor text was, this armor is cut in a way that is very revealing. So my character has sexy gloaming armor, and the character turned into this crazy guy who thinks he's a celebrity, and so goes around going, yes, I am Adrian Belmont. No autographs. I just want you to consider me another adventurer, even though I am more famous than all of you.
Oh my god.
And so his activation phrase is, I'm kind of a big deal. And then he does full-blown Sailor Moon transformation. All of his clothes burst off. He floats in the air. Ribbons appear. It's awesome.
I should have done that for the DD campaign I'm running. I have a character that their introduction was very much basically pulled from Girahim's reveal in Skyward Sword. And like the reveal for the fighting, his cloak disappears, he gets his little sword thing. Should have done a full-on magical girl sequence. It would have been so much cooler.
I think D&D needs more magical girl sequence.
I don't know if the joke would have landed, but it would have been funny.
So for anyone who's wondering, Pierre would be Sailor Neptune.
I don't know what that means, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it's a good thing.
Sailor Neptune is very adept at music, and then has some pretty cool powers over water, actually.
And isn't Neptune and Jupiter are a couple?
No, Neptune and Uranus are a couple.
There we go.
Unless you watch the English dub
thought
in
they
which
were
they
cousins.
are cousins,
Yeah, there.
which just made it so much worse because all of the original music intention is still there. Yeah, Little Me would have been much happier to know that they were a couple and not related than she was being confused about why these cousins are into each other. But yeah, actually, you might be the love child of Neptune and Uranus. Uranus, their soul weapon happens to be a sword, and I think that might be the closest we get to
Man,
sharp.
the more you talk about this, the more I realize I don't know about this.
It's actually as much as it was advertised really heavily in the States as for young girls. It is a remarkably well-written anime. Especially, I can't remember if the new dub was any good, but if the original Japanese was really interesting high level stuff,
Yeah.
and they kind of dumbed it down for American audience by making cousins.
If you are a fan of Erika Ishii, she is one of the artists on it. Like, she's one of the voiceover people. So if you're a fan of her, check it out.
So,
for sure.
Gruel is actually Exodus twice. I think it's a great question. Could we get an encyclopedia of lore of Realms of the Wild so we can keep track of this story and/or play our own games in this setting? I have what's called a campaign Bible for it that I basically give pieces of to everyone that all the guests. I will actually give them a piece of the campaign Bible. Excuse me. It does exist. My only issue is one a lot of the stuff in the campaign Bible, the players don't even know yet, because it's yet to be revealed, and that mystery aspect is a really big driving force of the game. And two, Nintendo is really litigation happy, so I would be worried about even not like, you know, selling it or anything, but just releasing something that's, it's one of the reasons why you'll notice nowhere in our title or anything does it say The Legend of Zelda or anything remarkably close to that. We have our own title, we have all this stuff.
You forget
Yeah.
the channel is called Zelda Universe.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being a fan channel and creating your own fan content.
Try telling that to our YouTube channel.
Well, you make a valid point. So yeah, after the campaign is over, I might release the book. It takes a lot of work to kind of put everything together.
And that said, like, feel free to like get a wiki started, anyone, of just like stuff that's been revealed in episodes. Like,
Yeah. Like,
Just for Elias to go back and double check.
I had to, in the middle of the last campaign game we had, I had to whisper Jody something that happened I had to ask him about something that happened really early in the campaign because I just had forgotten, and I couldn't remember where it was in the bot archive of like stuff.
Yeah, and when you're like, when you miss an episode because when you're busy, you can't really watch, you're trying to remember things, and then like, there were parts of my backstory that we made, you know, years ago that I'm trying to remember things when I talked about it, and I literally just be like, wait, do you remember what we were talking about when we made this? Because I don't remember jack.
Yeah.
oh yeah, I have all the character backstories. It's one of the reasons I made all the players email them to me. I can search my email for all their backstories. So
Oh, yeah.
anytime they ask me a question, I look, like I have this whole world down. No, I have everything written down in like 17 different places on my computer, and I just look it up.
Personally, I would appreciate a heads up if we ever go to Zolta's hometown so that I can reread my backstory.
I'll send it to you, because there's going to be perfectly honest, I'm not a fan of the term trigger warning, simply because it's been misused so many times. But Zulta has a very intense backstory, and her episodes might be the first time where in the beginning of the episode I go, hey guys, do want to put a content warning. We will be dealing with this subject.
My God, Zolta.
I'm concerned because I thought my backstory was pretty dark. In hindsight, I put way too much information out there when we got there, and right after the episode, I'm like,
I
Wasn't the
thought
smartest.
it was really great, because I'm like, oh cool, lore dump.
I wasn't expecting to do it, and then I'm just like, should I? All right, I guess we're doing it. And then after the episode, I'm like, and then I'm in jail, and I'm like, well, this may not have been the best option. Tune in to the end of the year for my final episode of Realms of the Wild.
I know it's so surprising that me, the creator of Zolta, would create such a dark backstory for her. Yeah,
So
very
weird.
out of character.
To be fair though, because I know and Jody knows and none of y'all know, Iruna actually has the darkest backstory.
Oh yeah. See, the funny thing, Aruna doesn't even know how dark his backstory is because there are parts of his backstory I have added.
So
that
out
he's unaware.
of all the backstories of other characters in the game, then Jody, who has the darkest?
Yeah.
Is it
Oh,
Elias? Or
Um,
Kier?
They have,
Different shades of dark.
yeah. I mean, like your Pierre's backstory, as everybody knows now, is really intense and deals with severe trauma. Like he lived
It's
through
yeah,
something
very severe.
horrible.
Survivor's Guild.
Whereas when you look at like, without giving too much away, when you look at Zulta's, she has lived through some incredibly dark things that have colored her character, but they're completely different kind of dark and a different type of tragedy. And that's one of the reasons why the characters are so different, is because they've lived through like all. One of my favorite jokes is, what's the most dangerous profession in all of D&D? Being a parent.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean,
Characters never have. Adventurers always have something in their backstory tragic that spurs them to adventuring, and it's no different here. And each player, because they develop their characters with me separately, each player gravitated towards a specific type of trauma. And so, yeah, you know, Pierre was about, you know, the horrors of war and, you know, death and things like that. Zulta will find out. Kess, we've already seen a little bit that she had to deal with racism and, you know, stuff like that. You know, all of these things are very damaging and definitely change the character. And I can't really rank them on, you know, who had it worse. Y'all's lives just sucked, and then I sent you to other dimensions. So,
Woo!
my favorite comment right now is Elias. Aruna had to deal with rocks.
those
In
rocks,
more ways
man.
than you know.
I'm sure
But
there's
up,
like
up.
something that's actually like a truth in the trauma there.
You
But
have
great
no
comment.
idea.
So can I ask a question to you, Jody? Going back into like your Bible worth of stuff.
Well, real quick, I want to make sure. Did we have another question from the chat? We have.
I mean, the only one I see is, did Aruna blow up his parents? So,
we had
You'll find out eventually.
a question a little while ago. Yes, no, to avoid spoilers. Have the players' characters fully explored the Trifork and what it could do as you intended? No.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
figured that.
I mean, yeah.
I
We're not
created
always the
the
brightest
item.
bunch.
specifically to give them a huge leg up, and thus far they've used it as a laser pointer.
We have no.
As you
because
can
No,
see.
there's something else that's a laser pointer.
we used it to seal the big ball tear thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that was one of its intended purposes. However, y'all have done nothing to figure out this thing that can seal tears. Apparently, that's all it does.
We'll
the
get
Trifork does
there,
is seal balls.
Stick
Jody.
a fork in the
Great.
tear and it's done.
We'll get there, Jody. Jesus.
Maybe not, but we'll
It'll
have
take a
good time
couple of
trying.
years, but it'll be fine.
Like yes, I love that.
It's
they're
very-
over there.
Over
But
there.
they're also kind of over there, and a little bit of them like that way. But then I think One Piece landed on top of the mountain.
Oh.
So-
hmm.
Is it wrong that I think that Zolta would have a better appreciation for Aruna if this was the case?
No.
It's on point. No, it's,
Do you had a question?
Yeah, I had a question, and this is partly because I'm sort of intrigued for the Bible stuff that you say you have everything like created in a thing. I know because yesterday I was personally streaming and I was using a particular different applications to do like all my writing and to do all the encounter building and like creating the maps and whatnot, do you have a particular like set of programs that you use to create stuff in, or like everything written down, or do you just use like Microsoft Office or like OneNote or anything like that?
I use email a lot because a lot of my creation involves working with other people.
Okay.
So a lot of I use email. I use Open Office Writer for a ton of stuff, and that's where I get most of the lore down. Is I just type it in, or I'll actually copy paste it from email sometimes just to put it all in one location. And then I use for realms. I use Excel to make maps. Actually, the maps that you guys found in the Lost Temple, whatever it was.
That was in
Those
Excel?
Yeah,
What?
I made all the cells square, and then I used black to I colored the cells that weren't spaces black, and then like
Wait,
it was just
really?
an
Look, Excel
Hold
can do
on,
a
I'm
lot
looking.
more
I
than
want-
people realize.
But Google Sheets can do even more.
Wow.
yeah. So that's the stuff. When I start getting into like the other games that I run, I have a new thing that I love called like Don or something like that. Give me a second, I'll find it.
You've heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Jody loves Don Juan.
Yeah,
Um,
Don RPG tools.
Oh,
Don Juan.
I've used those a bit. Those are good. I also
They
use
have
Cobalt.
they're like random generators. Like I had it generate a dungeon for me because I've been looking for a really good program where I could draw my own dungeons, because this means making them by hand just isn't working. And most of the programs that let me create maps and dungeons just either cost money that I don't have, or don't give me the control I need to make it. So I would
Yeah.
if you guys know a really good map making program that's free, let me know.
Yeah,
Microsoft Excel.
I use Grid Cartographer, but I paid like $50 for it to go from 20 originally and then probably 50 now to have the rest of the stuff. But now I can like export the maps and use them in images, and that's what I did last night. And it was
Yeah.
really nice.
If I ever get enough money to do it, I will probably invest in one of these programs, because it would make my life immensely easier. I do build a fair amount of maps in Roll20 using their built-in app sets. It's not great, but it has a grid. So, yeah.
Imp would like to remind you that we have also used the Trifork as a pry bar. So
That's
we?
true.
we did.
I remember Runa tried to do something with it, and now he's lost all Trifork privileges. I can't remember what it was, though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Made an incredible reality-altering magic item. Use it as a pry bar.
Reality altering, writing that down.
It can close rifts between realities. How is it not reality altering?
Fair.
Okay, if no one asks a question, I'm gonna have a stupid question to ask.
I thought there was another one.
I appreciate that Quirrell thinks that revealing Piers Baxter was a good idea. Because I'm like, cool, then maybe my decision was a good idea.
It was a choice that we now all have to live with.
Yeah.
But mostly you, because the rest of us are in the clear.
I love this question. Could the Trifork help Jerry/Gary travel with Zolta through rifts?
Is she just going to collect all 3 lizards and then...
I'm going to be right back,
Yes.
actually.
Zulta is actually the final boss.
Oh my god, I would love that.
100% believe that.
I would take
The
it.
dark part about her story is she actually is the one that split the 3 realms, and then she just went through killing random people and suddenly decided, oh, maybe I should try to fix this.
You know, I also wouldn't be surprised if Zolta ended up being the final boss. She's had character development, though.
I love how the players are so fine with me going, oh yeah, by the way, I've made your character the bad guy. Hope you don't mind.
I stream with a pig skull in the background behind me.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Oh, too soon, imp. Such a touching scene. I like Spider-Man. He wasn't supposed to disintegrate.
It's okay. I'm Rockman.
So yeah, as far as the rod,
If you see that cream thing in the background that I've now zoomed in on, that's actually a pig skull.
Oh, okay.
right. So in relation to, I mean, so here's a phrase I came up with running one of my other D&D games. My players found this altar that had a very specific function, and I have worked out in my head how it's supposed to work. And they started doing just random things, casting spells on it and stuff like that. Stuff that the device wasn't meant to deal with. And so I had to sit there thinking, okay, how would that work in my imaginary world? How would that work? And they kept asking, okay, so what happens? I'm like, well, it's kind of like you're peeing on the ignition. That's not how the ignition is supposed to work, but peeing on it will definitely make something happen. You know, it conducts electricity in that. It's just not going to be what you want.
You heard it here first. Casting spells is basically peeing.
On an engine.
Ba-da-bop.
So, using the rod to help Jerry and Gary travel with Zulta would be being on the ignition. Theoretically, it wasn't designed to do that, but if they abused it in the right way, they might be able to get something to work. I don't think anyone would be happy with the results.
So what I'm hearing is there's a chance.
Zolta doesn't know that.
Zolta might not care.
Zolta doesn't have the idea yet.
Not yet.
Yet. That's the key here. Let's be clear.
To be blunt, a lot of the items and things in the game, and it's one of the things I like about Open Legends specifically, if they want to use it in a completely different way, they can. The way my brain works is I kind of come up with the underlying physics, for lack of a better word, of how the thing works. And then if the players want to use their knowledge of how it works to do something different, they can. And I'm going to apply it to how I believe it's supposed to work and how they're used. So, yeah. They can use the Trifork for weird shit. They can use the Blast Basher, or Kyria's already gotten really good at coming up with unique uses of her hookshot.
And I've never activated my item once.
Never. And it would be massively useful over and over.
But it would also reveal a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would reveal a whole
her
lot.
magic item, if you're wondering, is she has a pocket butler that she could just pull out and...
That would reveal a lot.
It would.
His name is actually Jerry.
In my home game for D&D, I play Jody's custom class he made, the Dragon Knight, and it's very story based class. And the DM in the world that we're playing in, actually, like, dragons are like, no, none of that, right? And so it gets to the point in higher levels where you actually take on physical things about the dragon. And so for the longest time playing that character, I withheld. There's a specific powerful thing you can do that basically temporarily makes you look like a lot like a dragon that I never used because I did not want anyone to know.
Which is a defining feature of the class.
Yeah, I use it now. I think things have changed, but
Nice.
for a long time, I could not use that in front of anybody.
I
Or I could
love
have,
my
but-
Dragon Knight character that I played back in California with like friends physically sitting around a room. So there's nothing about it online. But her name is Me. She has a twin who also goes by Me. The twin became the captain of a ship. So when people would ask who's the captain, everyone would say Me. And then she would have random badass moments and destroy things. It was great.
Really, if you guys would like to download the Dragon Knight, you can go to the DMs Guild, search the Dragon Knight class, download it for free, or pay me.
What's it called? The Dragon Knight class?
It's called the Dragon Knight class.
Mhm.
It's a custom D&D 5e class, and it's actually it's a platinum bestseller. The last time I looked.
It was
It's a
pretty
class.
good.
Yeah.
I
Is
enjoy
it?
playing it.
Let me see. But Jody Hall, there you are.
Ooh.
Did you put this in Beyond yet?
No, and I probably won't.
Ah.
We are not mean, Elias.
You are.
No, we're actually we.
'Cause I love like going through D&D stuff.
Now I'm trying to think of a question.
Because otherwise,
Oh,
Ilea's going to ask
I have
a dumb
I have a
question.
question. Do you guys have any like what was like the most ridiculous encounter as a DM that's ever happened in a game that a player has done or a group of players has done to you? Because I have a really ridiculous one from when I was doing D&D with my friends. Jody, do you have one to start?
Many.
I'm listening.
An encounter?
Encounter anything that happened in a game that was just like the highlight of like this is the most ridiculous thing that's ever happened.
Oh, I get tons. I guess I can start with when when players miss. I'm to keep combat interesting. I narrate combat and make it very action oriented and very action movie like. And when players miss, if it's a rare thing, it might just be, oh, you swing and it clings off the shield and you miss or something like that. But as it happens more and more, I get more creative. And so I was running Tyranny of Dragons in a game store, and we had this guy who had I think he's a bard named Valric. And bards are actually really good characters in 5e compared to like earlier versions where they kind of stunk until higher levels. He was attacking these dragon cultists and just kept failing over and over again. So it started with, oh, you missed. Oh, they blocked it with their shield. To eventually I started going, well, didn't hit the cultist, but that's one less toad that will be bothering the party. And it just kept going. It's like that toad will never return to his family. So by the end of the session, he took the name Sir Valric Toadsbane, and for the rest of the campaign, he would introduce himself as, I am Sir Valric Toadsbane, as part of the reward for saving that town from a dragon attack. They had to build him a statue in the town. He had action figures commissioned. Every time they went to, he would use his title and his fame to get them better treatment. It was the most amazing thing ever. And it just came from me going, well, that's one less toad.
Nah. That's really funny.
I haven't DM'd very much. And out of those sessions, I have had very little actual encounters. because 2 of the 3 times were, well, it's all been about this stuff.
There was that one time we had that really cool drunken monk.
Yeah, he didn't do much. Yeah, I don't know if I can think of 2. I mean, yeah. The only real, like, the most involved combat I've run was the one at the end of that one shot we just did. So
I have no idea what you did to that character. He's immune to stunning.
he's immune to incapacitate,
Oh my.
which is fun.
I tried super hardcore because I really wasn't doing much, and so I'm like, oh, I'll just incapacitate the best. Nope.
You trying to just like, yeah, cute.
Giant
Nuh-uh.
fuck you.
Because incapacitate in particular can be very abused and overpowered if you know how to use it right, and you have a little luck on your side.
Well, if it's a boss character specifically can't be killed unless you reduce their hit points. Like that's one of the features. So it's not quite as broken when you're dealing with a boss, but yeah, it's one of the reasons I added it to the character.
Yep. I know.
Oof.
For me, personally, in that Sailor Moon game, when Tuxedo Mask, who is a lawful good character, decided to steal a car to drive to the next location for an encounter, that one like took me out for a little bit. Otherwise, when I like run games at home and things, usually I'll do kind of like a collaborative sandbox where we're building the world together. And as a result, the elf Kanye West named the woods the Kanye Woods. No one else calls them the Kanye Woods, just he does. But they are the West Woods, and that became a whole thing.
That's
so probably that.
hilarious. My most ridiculous one was a couple years back. So I introduced a lot of my friends to D&D. Mostly because I really liked the idea. I think it was really cool, and I didn't have anyone to play with. So my friends are all nerds. And they're like, hey, do you want to play or give it a shot? And I said, sure. And now whenever I come back to California, they're like, hey, want to play D&D? And I'm like, sure. But the thing about them is that they're a bunch of like, they're meme lords very much. So they meme everything. So I made, just for the lulz, a very I ran them through Phandelver, the starter adventure for 5th edition, but I changed all the names and had them Mad Lib all the names. And we were going through one of the keeps in that dungeon, or in the adventure, and we got to a room, and in the other room were enemies that I wanted them to take down. Instead, one of the characters was like, I'm gonna knock on the door. And they open the door and they're like, hi, we're a bunch of traveling musicians. We would like to perform for you. And I'm just like, sure, okay. Roll me a persuasion check. And they crit. And so they end up, and I'm just like, all right, fine. And they because I run music during my games, I put on Through the Fire and Flames, had them do like performance checks while they were acting it out. At the end, the enemies that I wanted them to kill were so excited and so pumped, they threw money at the party. I had all of them roll dex checks, but one of them failed, so they took damage while getting beat by the money that was thrown at them. To this day, it is probably the most ridiculous thing that's happened to a campaign that I've done in a while. The only other thing that's come close is the party that I'm currently running. I accidentally let them now have a pack of an owlbear and 4 wolves, and they took down the villain I had really good build up for before he even made it to initiative order.
I love this so much.
And this is literally my last session. I introduced him to the villain, super big reveal. But the problem when you have a group of 6 people and then you have animal companions that are all very powerful is you have to create encounters that scale XP wise for 6 people, but difficulty wise for a group of 11. And it's so freaking difficult.
I believe in you.
I somehow make it work, but the problem with that is when everyone rolls well and then your initiative for your villain, who's a level 5, is on the, like, literally they're the last thing going and they're all level 3, but they have amazing rolls, you don't get to do anything with the villain because they take you out before you can do anything.
The regular heartbreak of a DM.
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
I've made some choices.
Jody, without being specific, has there been one thing in particular that you set up for in this campaign that we either completely like bypassed or messed up or did something not at all in the way you were hoping we would?
I feel like that's 75% of what we do.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I stopped planning encounters, run things on the fly like a year ago.
Was that
Um,
before or after Lykios just started giving you stuff? Because every time he fights something, it's always something that he brings.
Yeah, that's what he uses all his rupees for. And to be blunt, I'm not opposed to it. He develops the encounters, and I just have to make sure that they're interesting.
At this point, bring him on as a writer. Save your rupee just to help write the show.
One of the things I enjoy about Open Legend is when things go wrong, like you guys get crazy high rolls and stuff like that, I can modify things on the fly to still keep it challenging, but not totally disregard your awesome roll. Whereas in like D&D, you're significantly more limited in how much kind of modifying you can do. So in general, even when you guys do things that are unexpected, I can kind of roll with the punches and keep cool stuff happening. And that's one of the strengths of Open Legend. But yeah, I would say their interactions with the Trifork were very much not what I was expecting.
Oops.
Beyond that, there's been a couple leads I've dropped that you guys either haven't cared about or just completely missed that I was surprised about. But
I know there was one in particular that Aruna pushed the group away from.
really, what was that, Elias?
No idea. Forgot. Slipped my mind. It's okay, they didn't really notice.
We do that a lot. Not notice.
To be blunt, I have parts of character backstories that I try to fit into the narrative, and sometimes you guys pick up on it, and sometimes you don't, and sometimes you avoid it like the plague if your name is Elias. Yeah, that's the fun part of running RPGs is the fact that I don't know how these guys are going to react.
Yeah.
I do see a new question in chat.
Is it yours?
Yes.
There's just one of the craziest funny things that players have done in one of my games.
Mm-hmm. But the players here.
Well, this is the only
Specifically
game.
you guys or any of my players.
Well,
Players here.
this is one-sided for me because it's literally just this game.
Yeah.
Us players, but in any of your games.
Yes.
Yeah. So Ricardo.
I didn't do. That's all you. This is Ricardo's
I
yours.
need context with this.
So I have a parody game campaign that I run, and to give you guys some context, one one session they had to stop a war between two factions that couldn't decide if a set of armor was white and gold or blue and black. And if
You know what? We
don't
stand
remember that
2015
reference-
memes. We stand 2015 memes.
It's an old meme, yeah.
It was in 2015
Yeah, it was
that we did
like,
this.
right after it happened.
We love
They've done
topical
things
humor.
like they became the Revengers, and had to go rescue, and I just do silly stuff, and the one unifying factor is the very first campaign session, which wasn't supposed to be a campaign. It was just a joke I ran for the first international tabletop day, and what it was is they got tricked by a character that I named Ricardo, because he was going to trick them into going to a new plane of existence called the interwebs, where they would have to fight trolls and memes, and eventually had to deal with the ruler of that plane, Lol. And so the reason he was called Ricardo is because he was going to rickroll them into the plane. And so as they were transported there, they heard, "Never gonna give you up." And so
I would have been
He
just
was-
upset, but at the same time, just like, yes.
I was upset.
he
I-
was
I
supposed
accept
to be
this
a
fact.
one-off character, and we ran another game for I think one of my charity events, and
Well, the game I came into was the 2015 game, which was either the second or third.
it was the second I believe.
But
that
that
was
was
the next- that was the
International
next one.
Tabletop Day again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what happened is I just kind of because the first thing that happened was Elias's character goes, "Where's Ricardo?" And I wasn't even thinking about him. He was just a thing. But Elias looked at him and said, "Okay, we can bring him back for one. Makes sense." And every game since then, I think we've had like 7 or 8.
Almost every game, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, every game he's involved, I just haven't been.
Just hasn't always been mentioned, yeah.
Yeah. So he is their big baddie, and he's not a bad guy. He's just a bumbling con man.
He's just a dude.
He is. He's just like the reason the Revengers were captured was he gave them bad information. The armor thing was he got this magic item and accidentally unleashed this cursed set of armor. Like that's what he does. And so yeah, Ricardo, Elias's character even has a sword that it's a flame tongue sword.
It's a flame tongue sword.
And the way that they work is you have an activation phrase that makes the sword erupt in phrase, and the activation phrase is Ricardo.
I have a character in my game that is also named Ricardo, and I made him like the quest giver at the beginning of the campaign and made him super flamboyant, and now there are jokes with everything with Ricardo, and they named me Ricardigan for that day because I had a cardigan on. Oh, also, I put this in the game as like out of table talk sort of thing, and that started showing up in my game too.
So yeah, I've had a couple. I think the best kind of silly player thing that ever happened that involved none of you, and it technically didn't happen at my table, but it's so funny that I can't help but share it. There was a campaign where they found this secret entrance to this underground layer, and they get to this room, they get into a fight, and then there's this huge stone set of double doors that what's supposed to happen is they pull open the double doors, they go into the next room, and they have a fight with a pretty powerful spellcaster, and it's low level party, so it's supposed to be a hard encounter. Well, the players get to the door, and they are very seasoned D&D players, so they see big giant double doors, they think trap. So they go, okay, we want to search for traps. They roll poorly. You detect no traps. Shit. Okay, well, we're gonna check to see if it's locked. They roll poorly. You don't see a locking mechanism. Okay, and so they proceed to spend the next hour very carefully trying to check this out. So finally, one of the players just goes, I push the door open, and the DM goes, nothing happens. Okay, well then and they had the entire party pushing on the door. They tried digging under the door, exploding the door, and finally one of the players, the DM finally goes, someone roll a fucking perception check. And somebody does, and they roll like a 10. He's like, good enough. The hinges are on this side of the door. And they're like, what does that mean? And there are two large rings on the front of the door. I don't get it. And there's a big fucking sign that says pull. They spent, I'm not kidding, they spent almost an entire session trying to
In fairness, my characters...
that wasn't locked.
That's hilarious. In fairness, my group has a tendency to argue in town squares to the point where they'll do it for 10 minutes and I'll be like, beginning of the campaign, I'm setting up the big plot arc, they come back, everything's in shambles, there's someone attacking somebody in a room and they're like, do we go in? If for 10 minutes, after 10 minutes, I'm just like, are you guys just arguing in front of the house? Yes! And so now, like, all the time is spent either doing dumb shit or arguing, and it's hilarious.
I think I had an instance of that. What happened, we were trying to rescue this woman who'd been kind of brought in by a cult. And so we found out where she was. We cast silence. They spent 20 minutes trying to open the door that wasn't locked. Finally, I just went, because they're trying to check it for traps. They're trying to pick it, and they keep rolling low. And finally, I was playing a barbarian, a really dumb one. And I just go, my character reaches down and turns the knob. The door opens. We go in, and because silence is on, the DM won't let us speak to each other. We have to mime everything. So another like half an hour, they're trying to plan how we're going to get out of this house that we're in, this mansion that the cult controls completely. And they're arguing stuff like that. We've knocked out the girl and the head of the cultist who was sleeping with her. So they're both unconscious in the bed. And they're arguing. I asked the DM, I was like, is there a window in this room? He's like, yeah. I go, okay. I pick up the girl. I throw a chair through the window. Silence is on, so nobody hears. I go, how far down is it? He's like, you're on the second floor. I go, okay. I jump out. Everyone else is flipping shit. They're like, what do we do? What do we do? As I hit the ground, I'm like, okay. And I yell up because I'm the stupid barbarian. I'm all right, let's go. And we end up running from the place. We don't fight. This is a 4-hour adventure. I made one attack roll as a barbarian and missed.
Wow.
The rest of the entire thing was just us avoiding fights. It was the most fun I've ever had.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Such fun.
So any more questions in chat? Anything about like the campaign you want to know, or like behind the scenes stuff, you are welcome to ask. I can't.
Yeah, what's the deal with the chairs?
Chairs? Yeah, so way back in, oh look, there's another question. It's better use shampoo as soap.
Yeah.
Personally think
Damn it.
shampoo as soap makes more sense than soap as shampoo. So just I can't get around the idea of putting just straight up soap in my hair. just seems like a bad idea.
It's an easier concept to wrap your head around when you don't have much hair. Trust me.
So, any other questions from chat? Otherwise, we might just
There
end
is.
this,
Ooh.
which of the universe is the most dangerous? Well, the one with giant robots, giant death machines that could step on you, tends to be pretty dangerous.
That could be
But
one.
the one we haven't been to yet is, well, we went there in the pilot
Yeah.
briefly.
And they have death squads that go around hunting minorities. So,
Yeah.
really, the Prime universe is probably the nicest.
At least the apocalypse is relatively peaceful there.
Yeah. The world still ended about 20 years ago, but most of the bad shit isn't there anymore.
Moblins and stuff.
Forgive me if I mispronounced the name. Is it Green Ayade Trombonist?
You know, that's still better than Matthew Mercer, who decided that I was a green-eyed botanist one day.
Yeah,
Were you
I'm fine
modding
with
for a
that.
Critical Role stream? Was that what?
That one particularly, I'm not sure, because he doesn't usually talk to chat during the Critical Role streams. It might have been a charity stream.
Is he a nice person? Have you met him in real life?
Yeah, I have met
The-
him and
oh,
Marisha, and yeah,
Christ.
they're great people, honestly.
Oh, that's good.
Like,
they
make
seem lovely.
The rest of the world look bad, to be blunt.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think we go to the same Taco Bell.
like super friendly, and
Oh,
like
yeah, I think
excited
that.
to hear from their fans and like talk about it. Yeah, they're great.
cool.
So anyway, she asked what was your first impression of the other cast members.
Terrible.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
I hated Elias so much I forgot our first meeting, which was on Google Hangouts for the vlogger search way
Yeah.
back in like 2014, I think.
13 actually.
13. Wow, yeah. I've known of all these guys, I've known Elias longer than any of them. I think mostly because he hasn't gotten sick enough of me to tell me to stop talking to him.
It's never too late.
I think out of the entire cast, I am probably the one that you probably met the most recently.
Yeah. Well, technically, I met you before I officially met Kiri. I had known of her and been a fan for years, but we had just barely interacted. And
Gotcha.
So
Elias, when did you join Zelda Universe when Zelda Eternity come through? Was that early 2016?
Sure.
'Cause I re-
2015 or 2016.
Because I remember, like, you always were making fun jokes in guides about, like, when I would do guide things, I'm like, hey, how is Link Between Worlds going? You're like, yeah, I'm on this Metroid boss. And I'm like, yep, cool.
Yeah, I still make those jokes in that channel.
Yeah, you're consistent, which I appreciate. But then I think it was after I became media director, and I was just, like, a hot mess because 2016 was not kind to me, and you were just like, yo, do you need help? And I'm just like, yes, help! So, Elias got
Yeah.
me through a whole lot of crap Elias got me through. So that was helpful.
It worked out because I didn't really have any specific job function at Zelda Universe at the time.
Yeah.
I was just orphaned into the staff from Zelda Eternity. So
Yeah.
I assigned myself work.
And then I appreciated it a lot. So that was nice.
My first impression of let's go down the list here. My first impression of Jody was, oh, he is a person also in this vlogger search. My first impression of Ilea was, oh, this is a person that Jody has added to this game.
That was also my reaction.
And my first impression of Alex was, oh,
Yeah, I think that's most of it.
Wow, I feel attacked, but at the same time, like, facts? Ew. Ew, no. Should we do like one last?
Leah, did you answer this? I zoned out for a second there.
I could lie and say I have answered it.
she has not.
I remember Jody, you messaging me on Twitch, being like, "Hey, I'm gonna have a game for Tabletop Day."
Yeah. Because I think it was like you mentioned something about I want to play D&D and I just couldn't, and so I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have a game. Do you want to join? I didn't realize how massive a mistake that was until I met her. But
that was also the game in which I debuted Cadence, who I argue is chaotic good. Other people disagree.
Cadence is just chaotic everything.
Full on
Cadence
chaos.
is chaotic cadence.
Yes.
But is it a ladder though? Is chaos the ladder here?
Don't get that
and
reference.
she decided to
Somewhat.
chase the Blink dogs because they were puppies.
My girlfriend
And
would do the same.
then we were supposed to like choose a side in this fight that was going on, like align ourselves with either the blue or black
And
armor
we
or the
did
white
not
and
do
blue.
that at all.
The party was so busy arguing amongst themselves on which side to choose that Cadence just went up and hit the closest person, who happened to be the most heavily armored person, and she's a short little halfling. And she's like, "It's Rainbow!"
Bard.
Yes, she's a halfling bard, and she just like hit the foot of, I think it was a knight or
I
something.
forgot she was a bard at all.
It's rare that I let you guys use your class abilities anymore.
So she's.
I mean, you've
fun.
turned into Power Rangers, Avengers.
Yes. In those terms, she is the Red Ranger of Power. And she is able to become the Incredible Bulk by putting on some torn
God
purple
damn it.
shorts.
Yep. Yep.
Elias, like, you are very similar now to our first game together ever. So, like, chat.
That's just Elias in a nutshell.
Yeah, like, what's your impression
Yeah.
of
I'm the
Elias?
constant.
That's my impression.
What's your impression of Elias? Elias. That's the only applicable answer.
Yeah. And then Alex, we played one of the audition games together.
Yeah, our audition game.
Was it the
one
callback?
you didn't
It was
talk-
the callback.
Oh,
Because the one that she didn't talk in was, I think, a different one.
Yeah, that was
no,
with a
she
couple
was
other.
the-
I
Was
talked
one
a-
other person, and then I filled in.
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah,
I
that was her
talked
first
a little
one.
bit more in the callback.
Yeah, that was because I wasn't in that one. I was in a completely separate.
Yeah,
audition.
Yes,
it was
you were.
You, Dale, and Elias,
Mhm.
and that was by far my most favorite thing. I gotta email Dale sometime just to get her permission to release that because it was so good.
I thought about trying to invite her for this last one shot I did, but her time zone in relation to this airtime is so terrible. It's like at
It's
3 a.m.
It's actually not bad if I remember correct because we the reason we chose this time is because it worked for crazy Australia half time zone bullshit.
I could have sworn it was in the middle of the night, but maybe I
don't know.
miscalculated.
I think it was late at night, but
I think it was
Anyway.
supposed to be a late at night thing because I was gonna work my schedule around it, because of requirements from work. It's like the reason why I have cards out at 2 because I
Yeah.
have to work at 2:30.
Part of me is really happy that I've moved to Wisconsin so that this isn't at 9 a.m. for me anymore. The other part of me is looking out the window and noticing that it is snowing right now.
LOL.
Yeah, these past
Yep.
couple of sessions, I've been in Central Time, and it's interesting not having to wake up early in a panic. every time
Right?
Realms happens.
Like me being in the chat at 8 a.m., Elias coming in and just being dead.
See, here's the thing. I'm on Eastern time, so I'm good.
Except that you have to leave right away.
Well, yeah, but I'm
You have
trying
the
to
opposite problem.
I'm trying to figure that out.
Alex, did you answer your first impressions? I can't remember.
I answered mine.
Elias's, because I sort of met Jody and Ilea at the same time. I
mean, you and I had been speaking because, spoiler alert, Alex, Elias, and I were the people that did all the pre-production. So I think we'd been speaking through email and
Is
stuff
it
like
really
that.
a spoiler when we told that in September?
No.
Like,
No,
sure we
so
said it
yeah,
in the pilot.
we started this in April 2017, and so we started talking about stuff then, and
Yeah,
got
I
more
think-
into it.
Oh, hey, it's been 2 years.
It's been almost 2 years.
Yeah.
September.
Congratulations,
Yeah, it's been
folks.
about 2 years since we've started production on this show. Period. And then September will be our second year of actually doing the show.
and I auditioned in like June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was in
We
the
had
mountains.
a long process.
Well,
My-
because even before Jody was involved, like Alex and I were throwing this idea around. We're like, we need a good GM for this. Like that's vital.
Yeah, and because
And then they couldn't find one, and so they went with me.
Yeah.
Well,
no, that
Matt was
We
busy.
went through several rounds of interviews, and then we were like,
yeah,
all of them said no to us. Who else is there that would be willing? And Jody.
Yeah. but
And
Overheard
after
that.
you guys showed me the compromising photos, I was like, yeah, as long as they don't get out, I'm fine.
yeah, and the thing for me is like, I always wanted to do an RPG show, and so when he brought it up, I was just like, hell yeah, let's go. So.
How
Yeah.
you doing, Elias? Enjoying that central time?
Still tired,
Um.
and it's
I
12:30.
Yeah, that's a decent amount of questions that we've done so far.
Ilea pasted a bunch.
I know.
As far as my first impression, other than Elias, because like I said, we met and I forgot we met, and then I think we were on like a cocktails.
To be
podcast or
fair,
something.
you met me at the same time you met like 8 other people. So
Yeah, like that might have been the same one where I met Scott, whom I don't think even knows who I am anymore.
Do we really know who we
been
are
a long
anymore?
Alex,
Everybody
my
knows
first
who
impression
I am.
of you is you have far too much energy.
yeah, no, relatable. Yeah,
And then
that was
Ilea,
part of
That's
the
just-
subtext with my O.
I mean, honestly, like Alex's energy instantly made me think he was a theater person.
he's a dancer. So
I am a theater person.
Yeah.
I literally got cast in a show like last week.
What? You got cast?
Yeah.
Oh, congrats!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I'm
didn't
a
you
hear
get
how the callback
chorus
went.
or did you get?
I'm ensemble.
It's great. It's
That's
it's
so
a
awesome.
great show to be an ensemble.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Reference. I got into Newsy. That's the thing. Chat for those who did not know. But no, yeah. I've done theater. Like I have a lot of energy because of that, and
I think everyone
But
but Elias is a theater kid.
No, I did theater all throughout high school.
Oh wow, yes, we're literally just a bunch of
I
theater
just
kids.
don't have energy.
Yeah. But I'm just so used
Well,
to
he
people
does,
who
he just
have
doesn't show it
Alex's
often.
energy in theater that I'm like, yep.
yeah,
It's
a
not-
lot of my friends sort of exist on the same sort of plane, and energy-wise as me, for the most part. So, to an extent, there are some people who are not there, and there's some people who are over, which I'm impressed by because that's hard to
I
be
am
with
not
me.
one of them.
You're not,
Yeah.
unless Metroid's on the table, then yes. Otherwise,
No, see, I can talk about Metroid in a calm way, but when you're sitting on a couch at E3 after years of no Metroid news whatsoever, and they announce not one but 2 new Metroid games,
that's still a highlight
both
for
of
me.
which you're looking forward to,
That's-
things happen.
It's still a highlight for me, to be honest.
So we've talked about Jody, your impressions of Alex and Elias, and I think
Who else is there?
for you. So like I said, we met because you used to mod for Geek and Sundry, right?
I think I'm still technically a mod there.
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll talk about Geek and Sundry later.
Will we?
No, we
No,
won't.
we won't.
I don't think we should promise that. Okay.
Moving on.
Yeah, I'd seen your name just over, and I think didn't you used to do the forum stuff too, or you just?
I've been in the forums. I didn't mod them.
No, but your name showed up there.
Yeah, I've posted a few things to the forums.
So yeah, I knew her via a text name, and she mentioned that she never got a chance to play, and so I invited her, and then I didn't really know what to expect, because just inviting randos to your parody game has mixed effects. Some of them will clam up, some of them will try to hijack the story. Ilea was a great breath of fresh air, because she played off of Elias and Don so well. So you had Elias that was really good as a straight man, and then Ilea really played the
Crazy person.
yeah, the funny man. She was the trying to remember roles now. She was the Costello to your Abbott. Yeah. And then Don just had this beautiful foil aspect to him, where he was the instigator, and so the three of them just worked really well, and so yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, and then I got to actually know Ilea herself, and I was less pleasant.
That's okay. We're only talking
Yeah.
about first impressions.
Yeah.
Let's just hold on to those first impressions. I feel like I should put that on my LinkedIn profile. You'll be pleasantly surprised.
And then less so.
Yep.
No, I'm not putting that. I'm trying. Josh, you don't put that.
So any other questions, chat?
Animal that most closely resembles my eating style is, out of just animals I can think of eating in my head, let's go with a dog.
See, I was gonna go more towards cow.
I
'Cause
will
I just see a
also
last
say
one.
dog. While we're waiting for chat to do an answer, by the way.
No, they're
small-
supposed to answer the most popular girl question.
Oh, are they?
That's a separate question.
But so are we.
Separate question. Before we do that, quick announcement before I think we've got a lot of questions gone through.
Yeah.
Quick heads up about something, because I actually don't think we've talked about it for ZU yet. May 11th, we're doing a multi-world randomizer stream here.
We've mentioned it in passing in various streams.
Well, let's say that for real.
Has it been on this game? Alex, tell me about it. What does this mean?
So we're doing an Ocarina of Time randomizer that Elias
Pain
and
and horror
myself-
is what it means
Well, for him it is.
for everyone.
Well, it's Elias.
You would know more than anyone.
I know, because I've done 2 multi-worlds now, where if you was on the 1. It's Elias, myself, and Andrew and Amanda all doing it. So that's May 11th. So, since we're not doing a show for Realms that day anymore, since we're doing a game next week, come hang out with us on the 11th. It'll be fun.
Yeah, we don't know.
Basically, just
We
show
don't
up
know
here
the
every
start
Saturday.
time yet, but it's gonna happen on that day.
Yeah.
Just show up at the as soon as you wake up, open Zelda Universe, see if
And
they're
just
on.
hang.
They're open.
That should really be your habit every Saturday morning.
I don't
I
know
mean, every
exactly
day.
what the plan is for how we're going to set it up tech-wise, but it'll be fun. So,
I know how.
and we'll have to talk about that at another point.
We really don't. Would you ditch your friends if you could become the most popular girl in school?
Nope.
No, I had such a vehement loathing of the cool kids, because I was not only was I an outcast of society, but I also was a massive bully magnet, and was just, schools sucked so bad, to the point we had our 10-year high school reunion a couple years ago, and I had a bunch of people asking, "Oh, are you going to the high school reunion?" I'm like, no, I hated high school. It sucked. Why would I want to relive that? The people I liked from high school, I still keep in touch with. And all the other people that I don't keep in touch with a few small caveats of people that I just can't. I don't like them. They were jerks. And I don't care if they've matured or anything. I have new friends. So, yeah, I hated high school, and popularity to me was the worst thing you could have.
My answer is maybe. Depends on the school, depends on the friends.
Zolta's a yes, Ilea's a no.
I'm a no, flat out.
I can't say that name right now.
Arcane Archivist asks, where do you want your character arcs to end up?
I
How
have
do we
no
answer
idea.
this without spoiling everything?
I don't know. I'm actually sort of
I
like
will
willing to see where it
Entirely
goes.
up to
I
you.
would be really happy if Zolta ends up happy and a little bit more not traumatized by her life and shut down.
I don't have an answer to this. I'm kind of like up for whatever.
Let's see here.
Oh, I would also be really happy if she ended up going just off the deep end and becoming the big bad. But
That would also be hilarious.
Either I get a nice picket fence ending, or I destroy the world. I'm
You
either
know.
Seymour or Audrey too.
I mean,
Fair.
you know me. That feels correct for my soul.
Iruna has an objective he's trying to complete. So he would like to do that. But aside from that, you know, he just wants to have a good time in life. And whatever that entails. Like he's having a decent time right now. It's a little on the edgy side because, you know, lot of stuff happening right now, but just in general. He's down.
Super chill.
I think that Zolta would also like it if she found a waiter who knew how to do his job.
Oh, that running joke.
I'm trying to think of any place in all three realms where we might encounter that.
I don't know.
Not with this DM. My goal for how these character arcs end is in a TPK. So
Yay! That will be my last episode.
It
I
will
mean,
be all
if
of our
Zolta becomes the big bad, and then she can kill them all and herself in one last blaze of glory.
Oh my god.
Zulta has gone from just being this
Is Zolta okay?
very like negative person to full on nihilist apocalypse.
I'm ready for this to become a murder quest against Zolta. I'm here for it.
Ooh,
Another
I like
question.
I like his next question.
What would you, from Arc, what would make your characters turn against or leave the party?
Kess getting really upset with Zolta. I think
I
that's all it
Could
would take.
totally see that being a whole plot line of you two having to make up or fight each other to the death.
Yeah.
I don't have one. I don't think.
Really good answers, Alex.
I haven't thought about that.
Neither have I until right now.
That's the point of the question is to make you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first thing that came to mind was like Kess yelling at Zolta and Zolta just getting so upset about it that she left.
Very much.
I don't
Right.
think there would be much, if anything, that would make
Yeah.
him turn against the party.
I don't think
Is Zulta
either.
started destroying every rock they find before Aruna can eat.
I mean, even that, like, he knows there's more rocks out there, you know. But
It's like, oh, please let there be a Wi-Fi thing so that there can be an internet site for Gorons called Plenty of Rocks.
oh, how little you know.
Damn it.
In terms of leaving the party, there might be a couple of specific situations in which you would do that. I don't know if it would be for very long or permanent. But I would say it's possible.
With Aruna, I don't really see like a negative reason for him to leave the party? Like any reason to leave?
Yeah, like if it were a negative reason, then that would probably be a reason he would turn on the party, which I can't really see. But it would be a reason he feels is the right choice at that time. What that reason is, it could be any number of things. It would have to be situational. But that's how he would think about that. Oh.
How would you defeat or confront your doppelgangers if they were created to confront the party?
Too bad they're all dead.
I mean,
Aruna would
far,
probably get
no one's
probably get along with
met
it,
a doppelganger. I would love to see Aruna.
just like three Arunas hanging out that are alternate versions of each other, but really just the same person.
Like everyone, like Zulta is flinging
Well,
bolts of entropy, and
no,
and
this
Tess
is
like diving around, shooting hook shot, and Pierre's going all knife. You just had these three Gora just sitting there, it's like, wow, like
They're just sitting in a huddle,
they're
like
really angry, aren't they?
drinking
Yeah.
rock juice.
They're more,
let's be
more like
Again, on
river
brand.
pebbles.
the Zoltas would team up to destroy everyone else and then try and betray each other. And whichever Zolta is left remaining would join the party.
I'm just here enjoying Zolta's arc.
So the three Pierres are just sitting, just sit there with each other, like, you down? Yeah, you down? Yeah, okay. Slice.
Popcorn.
So we're basically saying it'd be Kess and Zulta just fighting each other.
And I would
Yeah.
just sit and watch and enjoy it.
Now that said, if they were like, evil doppelgangers or whatever that were intent on killing us or something,
Really, an evil Aruna would be like, "Ha! I took your rock."
that's like that would be very
Yeah, so for you, there's not many stakes with that.
It would basically just be, that was mean.
I feel like this one rock would just get passed around the circle of Arunas.
Yeah, evil Iruna would still be like apologetic and cordial and
Oh, for sure.
but yeah, he would have to get creative, I think, in terms of like knowing that the other Aruna knows as much about bombs and stuff as he does. And so he would have to think, what would I not expect? And try to fight him that way.
My God, what would happen if the Zoltas were a closed circuit of energy, of life energy just going around?
They
among
would
all of them?
explode.
I love this so much. Let's try it.
Yeah, that'll totally happen. See, that's another one of these things that I know that the players don't.
Uh-huh.
You can change that right
Um,
now.
Yeah, no.
Well, chat can also change that.
Of course, as they can.
It's so much more fun just to not.
Just to not.
You-
You guys will
I
find out
relate.
eventually. It might be the day you all TPK, but
Oops.
Jody, you seem very certain on that TPK.
He's trying to tell us
It's
something.
very easy for a DM to TPK. Oh, look, a massive continent-sized meteor has come down from the sky on top of you.
you guys
Oops.
are in a realm with giant death robots.
Basically the same thing.
And whose fault is that? Did you
Yours.
tell us to leave the realm and go to the one with the giant death robots?
It's Pierre's actually, because he's the one from it.
Put the blame on me. I see how it is.
Yeah, because you didn't kill him when you were supposed to.
Well, that's... Yeah. I have nothing to say.
Ganon with the assist.
Yeah,
I have a question that you may or may not be able to answer, Jody.
sure.
In that first game,
Oh.
we had the guys hunting us,
Mhm.
and I killed one by zapping all of its life energy.
Mhm.
And then a random person who looks surprisingly like that in the next realm
Mhm.
just spontaneously died with all of their life energy being zapped.
Mhm.
So, when we kill people in one realm, are we literally killing 3 people every time?
Fantastic question.
Oh, God.
It would seem so.
can't answer it, but it's a great question.
I'm trying to think if there's anyone else aside from just like monsters and stuff. Anything sentient that we've killed or ended as a group.
As a
Not
group?
really. For the most part, most of the things you've killed have been sent by Lycios. So
Yeah.
Which are not, you know.
Let's.
one of these days, you guys are going to confront Warlord or Sorcerer or Technomancer Lycios, and it's going to be an epic battle.
It will. I think if there's any other questions, I think we got a good amount today.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Are you saying that because you have to go in 5 minutes?
Well,
Yeah.
it's been 2 hours, and I feel like we've exhausted everything.
Yeah. So,
Not everything.
yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry we didn't have a real show, but this weekend was really up in the air. And,
I didn't know I was going to be here until this morning.
and I like these Q&A sessions. So we will do this again sometime. So feel free to write down questions you have and stuff like that. We'll try to answer as many as we can. And
Yeah, it was
yes,
really fun.
next week, as of right now, we have a full house next week.
Woo!
That may change because of life, but yeah, tune in next week. We'll have a game.
Please
And-
come with your best Star Wars puns.
Yeah,
All of them.
We may even. I haven't actually decided yet because I got to talk to these guys. I may even do like a little parody episode just because it is May the 4th. I don't know. Yeah. So after next week we'll go back to bi-weekly for a week, and again because
And then everything will mess up and
Kiri has a really rough schedule because she LARPs and she goes to conventions and stuff like that, and so she's super busy, and we try to work around her schedule as much as we can. So we may have to do another where we have 2 games, one after the another, as far as weekends are concerned, just to get on a good schedule. Summer is bad for everyone. It's convention season. It's all these other stuff. It's school's out.
for summer. School's out forever.
But up.
Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.